All right, with today's farm news and information, I'm Joanna Guza. FFA is a unique extracurricular opportunity that offers hands-on experience to young students in middle school and high school. We are spotlighting some of the recent winners announced at the Wisconsin FFA Convention in early June. Today, I'm joined with the 2022 Goat Production Proficiency Winner, Brooke Grossheim. Brooke, did I pronounce your last name correct?
Yes, you
Good.
did.
Okay, with the Mishicot FFA. Brooke is involved with caring for 14 does, 3 bucks that live on her family's farm. Her herd is made up of purebred fainting goats. Brooke assists with feeding, breeding, clipping, and cleaning. Man, that is a busy schedule on top of all of your schoolwork and other activities. So, Brooke, could you start off by telling me about your goat farm?
So as you already heard, I have around 14 does, so our herd averages about 15 to 20 does throughout the year. So during the months of January and February, our fainters are bred, and so they'll be due in June, July-ish, and these are the warm months. So the gestation period is around 5 months. And so they're kept outside year-round, except obviously, if we want to monitor a goat that is sick or if a doe is ready to kid, we will bring her inside. The show goats, on the other hand, are purebred boar goats. We do not raise these on our farm. We buy them from someone who specifically raises them for show. And these are bought in the spring, kept throughout the summer, and we prepare them for county fair by working with them and whatnot. And then these are entered into 2 classes, the market class and showmanship. So the market class, they're evaluated on is this a good market animal? Do they have the right traits? And then the showmanship class, this is where your working with the animal comes into play, because the judge evaluates you on how well you know your animal, what breed is your animal, the purpose of the animal, etc.
Nice. And what made you interested in doing the goat production proficiency?
So we always had, well, as a kid, I've always had goats, like 2 or 3, and then I guess as a family, we decided, oh, this is something easy we can do, because we had calves, but we're all my siblings were younger at the time, and we wanted to get involved in showing. And this is a smaller animal, we can work with it. So once we
Right.
started showing, it kind of went on from there.
And you're going to educate me because I'm not a goat expert. Can you milk fainting goats?
You can, but since they're a meat animal, it's not very it's not very well. You
Okay.
wouldn't
And
get as much as from a dairy, obviously. It's not very
okay.
efficient.
So when they're done, do they go to market then? Do you sell them after fairs?
Yes, so because they're in the market class, they're eligible for the auction. So they have to meet some requirements like being at least 60 pounds, but since there's not many goats that are shown, mostly everyone makes it every year. So yes, they are auctioned off to buyers around here. Like last year, mine was bought from Meyer. I actually got to talk to the Meyer representative about goats, so I thought that was kind of
Wow.
fun. But yeah.
So just a small hobby, but I mean, I know there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's opened the door to a lot of opportunities. Brooke, could you share a typical day of taking care of your goats?
So the show goats are fed twice a day, and they're given goat feed called Prina on our show goat chow. So that's like feed specifically formulated for them to gain muscle mass. The fainters are just fed Kent goat feed, which is we just get from Fleet Farm. They're provided clean, fresh water every day, and we make sure the hutches are clean and dry. The bedding is changed often. And hoof trimming, that's usually done like every 2 to 3 months for them.
Okay. What challenges do you have with raising goats? I mean, you say they're a fairly simple animal, but do you ever have any challenges with them?
Definitely when we first started out was fencing wise. They like to test everything, so we had to go through some different kinds of enclosures, see what would actually work. So,
Okay. And I've also heard that, and I don't know if this goes against the showing, because I know when you're showing an animal, like their diet and staying pretty strict to that is like when I think about pigs or cows, like you want to stay true to a specific diet. But with goats, I mean, from my experience, we just had a little pet one growing up. They eat anything. So are you allowed to like let them out on the pasture and they're going to eat a burdock and you're okay with that?
Yeah, they're okay. It's all good. As long as they get the feed, they have done well in the past, so
Okay. Too funny. They're such a fun animal. We're
yeah.
talking with Brooke Grossheim. She is with the Mishicot FFA. She is recently the winner of the Goat Production Proficiency that was announced this early June. So, Brooke, for breeding purposes, what types of characteristics are you looking for?
So for kids, we want them to be fast growing. We have a lot of customers who buy goats to consume them. They're not from America, so it's part of their culture. So a lot of times we'll sell the goats when they're very young, when they're just weaned. This is our bucks that we sell. We usually keep our does. And then for does that we choose to breed, we look at temperament. And if they have difficulties in the past, usually if they do multiple times, we don't breed them again. We cull them. And then for a breeding buck as well, we don't use our bucks that are born on our farm. We always purchase a new bucks just to keep new blood going, you know.
Mhm.
So that is also just temperament. Um, yep.
Can you tell me about the breeding process? And you don't have to go too far in depth, but I know one thing when I toured a goat farm, like keeping the bucks near the does to help them go into heat. Is that a technique that you guys use too?
Yeah, the buck is in a separate pen most of the year when they're not in with the does, but they are always near the group of does. We divide them into like three groups, so there's like four does in each pen, and then like during January, February, it'll just rotate around, and that's
Mhm.
how we do it.
And do you eat goat meat?
Yes, I have. I've had goat meat, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. How do
I
you
like it.
prefer it prepared?
Um, we had like little like T-bone steaks, and then I tried it like ground in like chili. Either way is
Mm.
fine. It's not like super fatty or super like tough, so it's not like it doesn't have a strong flavor. It's pretty
Mhm.
mild, at least ones I've had. So
Very cool. Well, we're talking with Brooke Grossheim. She's with the Mishicot FFA. She just won the Goat Production Proficiency. What are some of your future plans, Brooke?
So I'm not totally sure what's gonna happen with the goat farm when I'm assuming my family's still gonna continue with the goats and my siblings are still gonna continue showing. I only technically have a year left because I'll be a senior next year and then I'll be going to a college. So honestly, after senior year, I'll see what happens.
And what are you going to school for?
Animal science. I'm hoping to be like an animal nutritionist of some sort, something along those lines.
Nice. And do you think you'll have goats of your own?
Yes, I'll definitely have goats of my own.
Right. It's something that's going to stick with you. So, last question for you, Brooke. What are some lessons that you've learned from being involved in FFA and being involved in your goat farm?
Definitely, you get in or you get out what you put in. This especially goes for like showing, like if you don't take the time to work with your animal or learn about it or like know how much it is gaining per day and how much you should feed it, then you're not going to be successful at the fair. And I guess this like it's a life lesson for anything in life can be applied. If you don't put the work in, you're not going to be happy with your results.
Right. Well, I think it's so unique how, you're doing this, in high school, but then it's going to be carrying over into you going into college. And then, once you're done with school, you're probably going to be involved in it and hopefully continue the tradition. So we're talking with Brooke Grossheim. She's with the Mishicot FFA. Again, she just won the Goat Proficiency Production, or Goat Production Proficiency. Thank you so much for your time, Brooke.
Yep, thank you.